TGIF, thank God it's Friday, and welcome to WWT Live as part of Women's Wrestling Talk. And today, simply put, we are all in.
Howdy, folks. This is Willow Nightingale, and you are watching Women's Wrestling Talk.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
A big happy Friday to you guys. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. It is great to be with you guys for another edition of WWT Live. I am your professor, Gerard Bonner, GB, Teflon G. I don't know what else you guys feel like calling me. What I do know is we've got a very, very full weekend of wrestling coming your way. A lot of it is dominated by AEW, but trust me, there's plenty of news to talk about, and I am not alone. My crew is with me, and that's what makes all the difference in these WWT live streets. Of course, you will see her. She's pulling an all-nighter tonight because she's nice like that. That's what she does. Ladies and gentlemen, she's the sweetest thing in pro wrestling. Wrestling with Honey is in the building. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You know, when you see my face, you know what day it is. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good day. How's your day going so far?
Going great. Weather's beautiful. Just soaking it all in. Enjoying the end of the summer. Working really hard. So I feel like I've barely gotten sleep or time to like just sit and be, but I can sit and be here, pun intended.
For sure. It's funny how, as tired as we can be from all that we do, these moments here in wrestling really do replenish us and refuel us. And that's absolutely fun. And of course, who needs refueling? Of course, the one who is always out on the streets, the other half of the most electrifying tag team in all of digital media. It is the Councilman Pharaoh, fresh-faced councilman, dare I say. How are you, sir?
I'm so good. I have to remain. I need to be looking fresh for my tribal chief this Friday, as he will be here on SmackDown. And I had to look great for my tribal chief today. How are y'all?
Absolutely. We are doing well. You are all over the place these days, sir. So it is good to see you. Everything well?
Everything is well. Okay.
Okay.
We've had some good meetings up in Strattonville. Resniak is doing fine, getting ready for her match at No Mercy. Even was asking had a drink with in Yeetropolis. I can't say too much about that, but there's some things cooking with the ooze.
Okay,
we like that.
Okay, we like all of that. We absolutely do. I got to ask you both before we dig into things. Is it starting to feel like fall where you are?
It's cooled down a little bit. It's cooled down lightly up here, but it was pretty warm today, but there's like nice breezes going on. And it's like, is that you, fall player, coming out of the Himalayas? Is that you?
How about you, Councilman? Now, does the weather really, like the seasons really change out in Cali?
A little bit. You more feel it at night, and in the shade during the day. Like sun is still out. It's not beaming as much. Like they turned it down from broil to it's sunny California again.
It's pleasant.
It's pleasant. And then at night, that ocean breeze comes in, and you gotta hoodie it up like yourself.
Exactly. I like to see it. Well, it is definitely getting cooler here, and I can feel it in the morning, which is great. And I'm here for it. Fall is one of my favorite times of the year. So
I love a crisp morning.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it looks like we're going to go into a new season with a new signing, apparently. So we're going to kick things off with the massive news that broke yesterday. According to our friends at Fightful, apparently Ricochet is on his way to AEW. It has been announced that he has signed a multi-year deal with AEW. I have a lot of questions to start this off. And Honey, I'll start with you and ask firstly, what are your thoughts on Ricochet signing with AEW?
I think this was something that we could have seen coming. Honestly, Ricochet could have gone anywhere. But of course, we know that he has a lot of history with a lot of people in AEW. And I just think that, he was pretty much banking on being able to rekindle those rivalries and, bring it to the forefront on the AEW stage, which actually might be very, very helpful for their roster as well, because he's a great addition to any roster. He's always had been that gifted, even in the indies. So I think this is an awesome thing for him to do, because he still has many years ahead of him, and it's just a point in time of making sure that the booking's right and making sure that he is able to fall into the right places at the right time to be able to have those proper rivalries. You could do Ricochet versus Malachi Black, Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, you could do Ricochet versus Swerve, Strickland. There's going to be so many cool moments. I think that's going to be coming out of this man once again. So kudos to him and congratulations to Ricochet.
Awesome sauce. Shout out to a lot of the folks in the chat. Boza, good to see you. Matt, always a pleasure. Jeffrey, good to see you. Special Little Nobodies, great to see you as well. Eric, I see you there. Also, Dylan, happy Saturday to you, sir. Representing all the way in the future in Australia. We love to see it.
Producer from the future.
So Councilman, let me ask you this. The news of Ricochet signing to AEW, do you think that news breaking takes anything away from potentially how he could debut, or does that excite you potentially for a debut in AEW?
I think it just confirms what we all knew, what was happening. I'm still excited as to when and what the potential rollout can be. So I don't think it really takes away. It's just good to know that it's like, hey, we know this is where you're going, rather than, let's say, for like a Mustafa Ali, who's been really everywhere and stuff like now. That is also a route that Ricochet could have took. But we do know that he is going to another thriving somewhat company, and it would be good to see him there. I wish him the best.
So let me ask this, and this is also to everybody in the chat, because and I'll start here. Obviously, when you start talking about Ricochet and AEW, the match that many people want to see is him rekindle his rivalry against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay has recently made some statements about this, as AEW has not confirmed or denied the presence of Ricochet. But here's some of what Will Ospreay had to say. He said that he feels like Ricochet has been downplayed for so long that people have forgotten the freak athlete that he is. So if it is true, and if he is coming to AEW, I'm calling you out to remind everybody who you are. Because without a shadow of a doubt, you were the man, whether it's Dragon Gate, PWG, the Indies. No one could touch you. I'm calling you out, and I want you to remind the world that you are one of the best to have ever done this. Now, here's my question to you. In that interview, he also talked about how a lot of the wrestling world today looks or has patterned a lot of what they're doing after what Ricochet has done in terms of being much more athletic and the like. Whereas their match that they had in 2016 was a true anomaly. So my question to you in the chat is this. Given the current state of pro wrestling, particularly AEW, who masters on having a lot of athletes like Ricochet, does Ricochet actually stand out in a space where there are lots of people who do very similar things to what he already does?
Yeah. I still to this day, man, no one does it like Ricochet. I forgot old boy's name from NXT. He really is a walking cheat code. Like, he is a human highlight reel. A lot of people are, but it's just something magical when you see Ricochet. Just some of the things he does and the way he continues to step up each and every time. When you think it's getting stale, he brings you with something else. Like, he has the flight. He has the wrestling capability, and he has this crazy strength out of nowhere that he brings to the table. So I think he does still stand out from the rest, but I think he's still close to that line where you're going to have to still keep proving it. Like your spot isn't solidified as of yet.
Honey, what do you think? Do you think Ricochet actually can stand out in a land of AEW that seems to have a lot of people who are extremely acrobatic?
I absolutely think he can. It's just the point of, Will Ospreay has said, a lot of people do sometimes tend to forget how great some of these people are because they weren't appreciated when they were in a certain era, or they weren't booked properly, or they weren't in the top spot. I mean, because Ricochet honestly went from being a champion to then just joining tag team, or teaming with Braun Strowman, things of the like that. But I always felt like there was more for Ricochet in WWE, especially being that he was a North American champion as well in NXT, and they pretty much thought of him very highly, and he was booked in main event spots and main event moments, and he always created crazy moments. Even the moment at the Rumble with Logan Paul, there's just a lot of impact with an athlete like that, and he has a lot of capabilities that even in the Vince era, they kind of had rules on what not to do in the ring, but there was so much more things that we could see him do that he had done in previous years before joining WWE. So
let me take a look at some of what the chat is saying. Let's see. Let's see. Dylan says, if Ricochet is happy, that's all that matters. Let the talented man do his thing and keep showing the world who he is. I see you, Special and Nobodies. Thank you. I appreciate that.
There goes that hashtag. Yeah.
Boza says, I'm excited to see how he debuts. Oh boy. And we're starting a hashtag. Okay,
Yes.
You guys. Wow. Okay. Hey, Eddie. Jeffrey says he could go on as Prince Puma. That's well, that is if that is still not held up by the folks at Lucha, because Lucha definitely held on to a lot of IP. Would he debut as Ricochet? Well, he was Ricochet before he got there, so they may have given him the opportunity to hold on to that. Special Nobodies. I'm happy for Ricochet, but why believe the fake TK when he has never given us anything to believe in when it comes to booking? I wish him well. Boza says, I don't know if he stands out. TK has wrestlers that do aerial moves like Ricochet. And Tamir was referencing Javon Evans. I think that's who he thought you were talking about earlier, Will. So let me, I'm going to say this. I do believe that people should do whatever ultimately works for them. At the end of the day, your motivation when you're doing anything, right? Whether it is, it might be you want to wrestle great matches, you might want to win championships, you might want to just make great money. Whatever your inspiration is, do that. From where I sit, I actually think he would have done better going over to New Japan as opposed to AEW. Let me explain why. New Japan, as we mentioned on Wednesday, they are looking for stars right now. You really want to go to a place, number one, where who you are can be appreciated, can be valued, and where you can at least stand out being you. That's one of the things that I thought was good for his WWE run. There was nobody in the WWE who could do what Ricochet did. Nowhere close. And because the WWE did not have a lot of people trying to do what Ricochet did, when Ricochet came on, it was absolutely must-see TV. I can rattle off names in AEW who are all doing what Ricochet does right now. And I mean, and they're not even and I say this carefully, they're not even your main event level stars. I mean, obviously you have a Will Ospreay who you consider to be main event. You could argue Takeshita, but then you could start talking about everybody from Top Flight to Leo Rush. Like you can just start rattling off names of people who will randomly do 450s, Spanish flies. You got Sammy Guevara there. You've got you've got a lot of people to where Ricochet is not one of one in AEW at all. He's one of many, which scares me, quite frankly, because sure, you put him against Will Ospreay to rekindle that match that happened at New Japan. But what do you do after that? Does Will Ospreay become a champion? I mean, not Will Ospreay. Does Ricochet become a champion? And if so, which title? Maybe he wins the TNT title. Do you see him actually becoming a world champion? I don't know.
I do.
You do.
This
okay,
is
make the case for him as a world champion.
This is Drew McIntyre and potentially Sword. This is the same route because we already know what Tony Khan's gonna do. Every match we want to see with Ricochet, we finna see that in the next 8 months. He's not gonna hold, but we finna see all the matches we want in the next 8 months. And as long as Ricochet can get better on the mic and captivate the audience, that's the only two things Ricochet was really missing outside of the moves captivating people. If he can prove to be a world champion on AEW, they will immediately have him come back to WWE. The only reason why he left was just because of that he just did not break that glass there. And especially with them moving to Netflix, where it could be where you don't have so many restrictions going on, it's just going to make him look good. But I will agree with you, though, Professor. I think he could have still done all of that in New Japan and would get a better result.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And again, I don't know. And here's what also is different, because I love the Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes reference. I think the difference there with both of them at that time, there was not the major juggernaut promotion of AEW. There was a TNA, which was a smaller promotion. There was a Ring of Honor. Neither of them were legitimately trying to compete with WWE. Not just that, but you also had tons of indies. You had New Japan. You had a lot of different places. I don't know that, and I guess time is going to tell. Outside of Cody, and again, Cody built AEW, we will have to wait to see a case study for somebody who has left the WWE, gone to AEW, raised their stock, and then come back. We haven't seen that happen yet. Cody's the only one. Some would argue CM Punk, but I don't know that that's fair, because Punk was a massive. He was already a star before then. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Ricochet situation happens, and how all of this happens for him. Time will tell. And plus, I think in a lot of those other places where Cody went and Drew went, they were clearly the star of those promotions that they went to. When they went, they were the star. There's a lot of star power right now in AEW, and I don't know if Ricochet, whose definite strength is his athleticism, I don't know if that stands out as, to me, it's a music reference for a singer. If you've got a singer that just does a bunch of acrobatic runs like Brandy, if everybody's doing that, then nobody's special. Everybody can't do it, I think we have a lot of that in AEW. Since I mentioned AEW, say her name and she'll appear. Courtney's here. How are you, Courtney?
Hey, happy Friday.
Hey,
Happy
Courtney.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
Well, we are talking about the news of Ricochet signing to AEW, and I want to get your thoughts on how you think this will go for Ricochet joining AEW. Do you think he stands out? Do you think this will work for him? What are your thoughts? And how does he debut?
Ooh.
I wouldn't be shocked if he made a debut on Sunday during the Casino Battle Royal, because we don't know who the other participants are, because they say top AEW stars. So I would not be shocked if he did make an appearance in the Battle Royal. Ricochet, he's very talented, and I was actually listening to your comments before I jumped in. He's very talented and does have the athleticism. It's just the one thing, and this is where some stars tend to struggle, is just the promos standing out, because there are some people who do promos very well, but there are some who just really don't fit into the promos. So that's something where it took time for a lot of superstars to practice on getting the promos down, even in AEW. MJF, he had to craft his promos in a while, even before he was champion. Swerve Strickland with his promos, Bryan Danielson, and even a few more people had to learn. And even Chris Jericho, when he first started, he was not that good at promos, but he kept practicing and building that momentum time and time again. So I do think the athleticism's there. It's just he just needs to build on like the promos and really being believable when he speaks. Because a lot of times there's some people who have it and there's some people who don't. So I'm very intrigued on what's he going to do with AEW.
We will certainly see, and we will get into our predictions for All In before the show is out. But some more news already from London. Of course, we knew that All In 2025 is going to be in Texas, Globe Life Field. And already there have been a number of teasers of what the AEW appearance in London will be in 2025. And based on this sign outside of things in London, it looks like Forbidden Door is heading to London in 2025. And All In is returning to London in 2026. So we don't know exactly where Forbidden Door will be in London. I don't think it'll be at Wembley. But what do you think happens for Forbidden Door? Are you interested in a Forbidden Door in London in 2025, honey?
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to tell some good stories for me up leading up until then, and making it worth it. I mean, especially if you're gonna if you're gonna start, advertising it now, it I guess I guess with the way business is moving, I guess these days more often they're announcing a lot of dates ahead of time. So it's not uncommon in this case for AEW to try to pull that off the same way WWE did when they had announced WrestleMania in Dallas ahead of time, and announcing all the pay-per-views that were happening this year, the PLEs that were happening this year. It's definitely piqued interest, but I just wonder, and I'm curious and concerned about what the status of AEW and where its roster will be by then.
Interesting. And Councilman, let me throw this one at you, because again, we were talking about this Wednesday. It's kind of come back up again today. Part of what makes something like Forbidden Door work is that there are stars in New Japan that you want to see. Here's kind of the flip side to this question. Does this give New Japan enough time to create stars that would make us interested in an AEW New Japan joint event in London next year? Nah. Not even with Zack Sabre Jr. as the world champion.
You didn't believe that when you just said that. You know that. So I'll say it like this: if it's all how you format Forbidden Door, I don't think you should have it to where it's this kick in type thing. But I think if you put it to where AEW, the New Japan that they are trying to build will be tested by some of these AEW people. So more of like the veterans of AEW taking on kind of like the new kids of New Japan. If you kind of push it like that to where, but you would have your AEW people would have to push over more New Japan stars at this Forbidden Door. And we've seen that is not normally the case when it comes to Forbidden Door. AEW normally takes the pot and go home. But for this one, in order for it to go so this New Japan can build into this next phase, it would really have to allow New Japan to showcase what they're bringing, who they're bringing, and AEW would have to put more of them over and kind of take the less of the winnings in this one.
Yeah, and I'm not fully sure that they'll do that. I'll ask you a similar question, Courtney. Do you think that, and again, we don't have a date for Forbidden Door 2025 just yet, but normally it is summertime, June-ish. Do you think that gives New Japan enough time? Well, let me back that up and ask this question. This is probably a better question. Do you have enough interest in New Japan for a Forbidden Door pay-per-view?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, for me, because I've heard about New Japan and I love that they are showcasing, like AEW is showcasing New Japan, because a lot of people probably have never heard of New Japan, especially considering the ones that are now starting to watch wrestling. And there have been many superstars, not just from AEW, but also WWE that wrestled in New Japan. So this is going to be very interesting to see, most specifically storyline wise, on how they're going to pull this out in 2025, where we know they're not going to do All In London. So I'm very intrigued on how storyline is going to go with some of their top stars, along with New Japan's top stars. So this is really going to be an interesting opportunity. And also, I think it would be great to showcase some of the rising talent. As you mentioned, Zack Sabre Jr., Mina Shirakawa, even though she's from Stardom, but she was able to showcase that, but also really intrigued on some of the up and coming stars in New Japan, and also seeing some of the rivalries that'll plan out. So I'm very intrigued long term on how storylines are going to go between now up until June of next year.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. And I'm also interested to see how their calendar will work, given, if they keep dates and times similar. End of May is usually Double or Nothing. End of June is usually Forbidden Door. But then you'll have All In July this year. So mid-July. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this works. There's a lot of cool commentary happening over here. Let's see. Tamir says, I wonder if they book Shota, Ren, and Yota Tsuji as the next generation of New Japan at Forbidden Door. I think, what's going to make this challenging is that New Japan is in a bit of a rebuilding phase. There's a part of me that almost thinks it may be a smarter move to pivot and do Forbidden Door just in 2026 to give New Japan an opportunity to build the kinds of stars that you'd be interested in. The other thing that I think makes this challenging is whenever we see New Japan on AEW, they rarely have a win. Tomohiro Ishii has been the lone representative of New Japan for the last month and a half or so. And, he gets a win every now and again, but he's a legend in New Japan. What's equally interesting is you've got Mercedes Moné, who's the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, never defends that title on this show. So I think for AEW to make this make sense, they're going to have to really showcase New Japan in a positive light over time for people to actually be interested in this. I think them having this in London, though, kind of puts them at somewhat of an advantage because New Japan does run in London. So there are some things that can be done there that could actually, kind of legitimize this. And the London crowd is a bit more familiar with what New Japan is doing versus AEW. So that should be interesting. Jeffrey says, not everyone knows knows anyone from New Japan, so AEW is going to have to do a good job of showing exactly. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see for sure. Again, we at least know that AEW will return to London in 2025 for Forbidden Door, and then All In is back in 2026. I'm down with long-term planning, as we are starting to see. Well, there was some long-term planning, but it looks like this particular bit of long-term planning has come to a halt, as the scheduled biopic for one Hulk Hogan has officially been canceled. And yeah, I had my own thing in my head in terms of what a sound effect was going to be, but obviously that did not play out in person. So Hulk Hogan's biopic was originally scheduled to have Chris Hemsworth play Hulk Hogan, and he had signed on all the way back in 2019 to do this, but things have obviously changed. I don't know that it's directly connected to some of the things that have been happening with Hulk Hogan as of late, but yeah, it is not coming together for the director, whose name is Todd Phillips, who had planned to do it. So it won't happen. Is there any commentary around this?
Todd Phillips was the same guy that directed, for those who don't know, which I'm sure a lot of us do know, the brilliant Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix. I already, like, if Chris Hemsworth definitely would have done well with this, but I'm not sure what else to say, because I'm almost positive this would kind of have something to do with a lot of the news surrounding the Hulkster, because he just somehow can't just shut up. Just don't speak.
Well, so that we don't get in trouble, we'll move right along and get into a far more interesting topic, as Bleacher Report. You know, if you ever really want to get people talking, create a list. That's what you do. And so Bleacher Report has come out with a very interesting list ranking the top 50 WWE entrance themes. Now, WWE, I think we can all acknowledge, has really done an incredible job in terms of creating music that will last, that we will remember from here on in. Now, which of these themes has stood the test of time, and according to Bleacher Report, are the top themes? Well, I will start with some of the bottom themes and see what you guys think about these, and then we'll go into the top 10, and then we'll figure out where everybody is. So closing out this top 50 list is the theme song for The Big Show. Now, I don't know if that's controversial or not. What might be controversial is number 49. Number 49, Finn Balor?
Disrespectful.
49.
Disrespectful.
49.
And this includes this is the multiple entrances too. These are all consumed in one. So if they've had more than one entrance, these are all combined when they made this list.
Really?
This is
But this includes the demon intro as well. It is only 40.
Still disrespectful.
48 is equally interesting to me. 48 is Sasha Banks.
That's
and
wild.
Regardless of what you think about Sasha, that theme music
hit
far more iconic than number 48. Like
both versions.
Yeah. Now this
you
was
know how many
interesting.
little girls still do this? Like so many still do this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 47 is Jake the Snake Roberts. Number 46 is Drew McIntyre. And I'll stop at 45 before I go to our top 10. 45 actually leaves me scratching my head. Razor Ramon.
I don't understand.
That theme song was incredible.
I just want to know what was the criteria in making this. Like, what needed to be in these intros?
Oh, I got a
for
rant.
you to make these decisions, because
I'm kind of curious about that. Like, what was the criteria of it?
It's not even the criteria. I guess there was just no logic behind putting this together.
So I think what may be more important is the people, because these were specific writers from Bleacher Report. And they didn't have specific criteria, but there were 6 different guys who came up with this, and these are the ones that made the cut. So let me quickly go through the top 10, and then we can start to pick and choose which we like. Again, these are the top 10 theme songs right now from the WWE, based on what our friends at Bleacher Report have come up with. Number 10, Triple H. Number 9, CM Punk. Number 8, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh, Bret should have been a little bit higher.
Batista. Number 7, Batista, I Walk Alone. Number 6, The Rock. Number 5, Edge. Number 4, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Number 3, Break the Walls Down from Chris Jericho. Number 2, The Undertaker. And the top WWE entrance music of all time, according to Bleacher Report, is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
At least they got that right.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with Courtney, because I know Courtney is a massive lover, as she told us on Wednesday, of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's theme song is in the top 10. What do you think about these top 10 theme songs, according to Bleacher Report?
I do agree Chris should be in the top 10, but the number was a little bit off because I could think of a little bit more iconic theme songs than his, and it should have been a little bit lower. I love Chris, but it is iconic during that era, but it should have been ranked a little bit lower within the top 10. That was a little bit too high.
So let me just review for everybody the top 5. Yeah, here are the top 5 once again. Number 5 is Edge. Number 4 is the Macho Man Randy Savage. Number 3 is Chris Jericho. Number 2 is The Undertaker. And number 1 is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Any other thoughts on that one, Courtney?
I can't believe Bret. He should be a little bit higher, Bret. And then I'm curious with Edge's theme. Is it? I'm trying to think when he was.
There's a couple. There was. This is including Rob Zombie and the On This Day I Seek.
Okay, I was gonna say, because actually my favorite one is You Think You Know Me, because I was like, wait.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Interesting.
I kind of.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of done on comments. Yeah, I think I'm good because, like I said, Chris, he should have been top 10, not number 3. He should have been ranked a little bit lower, but there are a few that should have been ranked a little bit higher.
Okay.
But that's all I have to say.
All right. Councilman, your thoughts on what we've heard on the top 10 and this top 5?
This top 10 is about 70% accurate. Okay. I actually don't mind Jericho where he's at, because I just think as a whole, as of his entrance, is fire. Like Break the Walls Down is fire, and it's his song. So that I don't knock that one. Now there's 2 in here, and you know what? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of y'all passing these people. First of all, don't nobody remember Bret Hart music. Nobody. Don't nobody remember Bret Hart music at all. All you remember is the pink shade. Don't know. All you remember is the. That's all you remember. You don't remember none of that.
Councilman.
The fact Ric Flair is not in top 10. The fact that I hear voices in my head is not top 10. They talk to me, but CM Punk ass is number 9. Stop giving these two dudes a pass. They not
that song is a banger. That song is a banger. CM Punk's that Living Color, that
Cult of Personality is a banger.
Top 20.
Go ahead.
It's a banger.
Pat, okay, is it more of a banger than Cody Rhodes? Is it more of a banger than Randy Orton?
So let me mention this one for you. You mentioned Ric Flair. His theme song is number 18 on this list.
Wow.
And Randy Orton's theme song is number 23.
That's wild. Y'all put the graduation song for Macho Man before the Superman song?
Now that Macho Man, the Macho Man theme song, I have to say,
classic,
it is so iconic.
Iconic.
It is so
Macho
iconic
Man.
that it made me excited about graduation. Like I would when it was graduation, I was coming out to Macho Man's theme song.
Yes.
Like that's how it was. That's how it was. So it's pretty iconic.
But styling,
you can't sing to
profiling.
No,
you can't tell me you didn't. Whoa!
Flair,
with this man.
No, listen, I agree with you. I think Flair's theme song among all of these should absolutely be top 10. I think 18 is definitely too low. I definitely think 18 is too low.
I think Macho Man is slightly high, not definitely in top 20. Not throwing his out like that. But should it be a little bit lower? The fact DX is not in top 10.
It's 18.
Yeah.
You're good. DX.
I got words.
DX
I got words.
Is number 8.
Oh.
DX is 19.
19
on this list.
Oh, yo!
I have
below Ric Flair.
I have words with this list. I have words. If anybody else wants to say anything, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
go ahead. Go ahead.
I understand, Stone Cold, you being number one. I understand the impact you've had. I understand that you were one of the most top-selling superstars of all time. You broke barriers, you broke through glass ceilings, you put asses in seats, that damn glass break, you and your beers. But damn it, y'all go stop disrespecting HBK. The fact that he's not even in top 5 hurts my feelings. The fact that Lita's track from Boy Hits Car, Love, Energy, Fury, Passion, why is that not even on the list? That was an honorable mention. I wanted to throw my phone when I saw that. I wanted to throw my phone. No love for Little Kim, for Trish Stratus, Time to Rock and Roll. You are you kidding me?
That's
where
iconic.
like how what and Razor Ramon being so high and Finn Balor but damn it, y'all gonna stop disrespecting Mr. Shawn Michaels, okay? Y'all gonna stop that. Y'all not gonna sit here and act like that it was one of the most popular and still one of the most popular music entrances of all time. Jimmy Hart, JJ Maguire. Okay, I had the yellow CD. I remember what color it was. And you know what? Rhea Ripley wasn't even on this list either. Test theme song was fantastic. Gangrel's slapped, so I don't know why his wasn't lower in the list. But damn it. Y'all, this list was disrespectful. I understand, Stone Cold. I understand. But y'all know damn well Shawn Michaels' theme music came first. And that shit was hitting. Even when Sister Sherry was singing on it.
Honey, I get it. But Stone Cold, he slowed down racism with his stuff. Like you had rednecks and black people sitting right next to each other when that glass shattered. We were not hating with each other at that time.
I don't think that matters.
That doesn't matter. Yo, in Texas, that matters.
But you don't think the same people weren't singing Shawn Michaels' theme song? You gotta be kidding me. Before before The Rock.
So I got a
Please.
few things so let me answer a few things. You mentioned Gangrel's theme, which obviously is probably you're thinking about the Brood's theme. That came in at number 34 on this list. So that is here.
Is Sheamus on the list?
Let's see. There were questions in the chat that I want to make sure I get to. Let me go find a couple
that's a good
of
one,
them,
Boza.
because they were asking about. So someone asked about Evolution's theme song.
Oh yeah.
And I do not see their theme song did not make it on here.
That's iconic.
Evolution's theme song is not here.
That is iconic.
So that's
Motorhead. Hello.
Yo, Sheamus is not on here.
Yeah. Evolution's is not here. Someone asked about the Hardy Boys theme song and the Dudley Boys. Jeff Hardy was number 25.
That's crazy.
Jeff Hardy is 25 on this list. I got here's a couple of other things that I think you'll find to be interesting. Shawn Michaels is number 12 on this list. Cody Rhodes, which is probably one of the biggest theme songs of all time right now, is number 13. I can't believe nobody said anything about this one. John Cena's theme song is number 14 on this list. That I think deserves to be a wee bit higher.
That's
given
definitely
what happens when you play that. That's a top 10 one.
That's top 10
for me.
They play that in other sports.
I think he's a top 10. I think Cody's a top 10. I think Shawn Michaels is a top 10. And I think CM Punk is rightfully in where he's at.
Don't do that.
Listen,
just name 5 other people that go in them spots before CM Punk.
I know that, but I just wanted to fit that out there. Just to, I know we tag team partners and stuff, but I play that song almost every damn day in my ears.
That man is 17 at best. That man is 17 at best.
So there were a couple of other ones that I briefly want to mention, and then someone made a suggestion that we do a separate show on this, which I would not be mad at because I think it deserves some conversation. The Ultimate Warrior, who I thought had a pretty iconic theme song, came in at number 16. His is number 16. Bray Wyatt's was number 17.
My favorite number.
DX was number 19 on this list. Someone asked about the Tribal Chief. Roman Reigns is at number 21 on this list. Nobody's mentioned this one, and I don't even know what to think about this. Shinsuke Nakamura, who 24. I think had one of the greatest theme songs of all time. His is number 24. I saw someone mention Vince McMahon.
No love and some. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I saw something Boza said.
Can we talk about the biggest slap in the face? How is NWO at 33?
Now that's where I was getting ready to go. The NWO at 33 is that's
insulting.
That's problematic.
Well, hold on. You know what? No. You know what though? Hold on. I'm not trying to defend them, but I will say it for this because it says top 50 WWE entrances. So I'm gonna take it as you're going off the WWE chapter of the NWO and not WCW. That's the only.
But again, you put Flair in there though,
right?
You put Flair in there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And you put him at 18.
Yeah.
So it's like Flair didn't spend a ton of time in the WWE.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that's interesting. How about the Shield? The Shield is at number 43.
Wow, that's
Oh, and this was interesting too. Seth Rollins is like 30 or 31. And then Daniel Bryan is at like 32, which I'm just like, so I think there's an entire conversation to be had about these theme songs, which I think we will do. Seth is 31. Daniel Bryan. This is weird to me.
Shout outs to
The
whoever said
idea
it,
that
but
Roddy
somebody said
Piper's
China
theme song
too.
is ranked above Seth Rollins.
Okay, so here's
China's not on the list. The APA is not on the list. Stephanie McMahon is not on the list.
Here's my thought on that, though. I think if we're thinking just the music, like take away us seeing the intro, and if we had the CD with the music on there, does Daniel Bryan music slap just playing it?
But here's the thing also. But wait. But I think what has to be included in that is you cannot divorce the theme from the reaction to the theme. Because there are some themes,
what is the criteria?
There are some themes that are great musically that never made their way onto this conversation, because I think it also has to do with how quickly people respond and how they like. So it's interesting. Nobody's arguing that Stone Cold is number one and The Undertaker's number two. Nobody's arguing either of those, because the second you hear them, immediate reaction. With that said, I think you look at that, you look at the caliber of the music, you have to include rock in much higher in the top 5. I think, obviously they may have put Cody at 13 just because it's more current and it's only been a couple of years, but I think people have been singing Seth's song for a while. So that for that to be that low is crazy. And again, the NWO piece. So I think we're going to put this on our debate list, and we'll come prepared to put our own top 10 list together. And I think we're going to have a fantastic list of things. So yeah.
And
all right, we're going to move.
Joe Hendry should have been on that list.
Well, I think it's too soon. I think the Joe Hendry piece is too soon. I think in 5 years, yeah, that'll be another part of the conversation. So we've got some anniversaries to talk about today. Today happens to be the 4-year anniversary of the very first WWE match for this guy, Dominic Mysterio, which is crazy if you think about what he has accomplished in the last 4 years. When he obviously started during the pandemic with his dad, a great tag team. I don't think a lot of people believed in Dominic Mysterio. Of course, he would join the Judgment Day, which completely changed his fortunes. 4 years later, he's a former North American champion, and you could argue he's the top heel in the business. He's right alongside a women's world champion once again. So shout out to Dominic Mysterio. That's pretty awesome for him. 4 years, and he's really made a huge impact. We're also dealing with another anniversary, and this one's interesting in light of what we talked about Wednesday. It is the 9-year anniversary of this match. That, of course, is Takeover Brooklyn 2, Bayley versus Sasha Banks, a match that literally changed the wrestling industry for the good, particularly women's wrestling. Pretty amazing. So I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Courtney, did you get a chance to go back and watch any of the NXT takeovers since Wednesday? And if you did, what'd you think?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't had the chance to, because my schedule's been crazy. But I have it on my bucket list because I plan to watch it hopefully before All In, and I'm definitely going to be rewatching Takeover and definitely rewatching that match, because that match was truly iconic. The fans were on their feet, and just seeing them two deliver that match, it's going to be a little bit of a aesthetic moment.
Yeah, definitely a wonderful time. Some may have forgotten that also on that card was the only WWE match ever for Jushin Thunder Liger, who made his lone WWE appearance on that very show as he took on Prince Pretty, a.k.a. Tyler Breeze. And that was a great, great moment as well. So again, go back and watch that. I went and I was randomly today watching a random takeover. It was NXT takeover, the end of the beginning. And I forgot this match happened on here. Austin Aries against Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to tell y'all. NXT takeover. Just
it was a time.
play.
It was a time. It really was a time. And not to mention if you don't mind me saying, Professor, this women's match, it was actually one of the ones that defined a new revolution going on in WWE,
Totally.
ushering a different era, being that these are two of the four horsewomen who we've totally debated about for many a show on here. But this match was also the second longest match on the card. You also had other cool matches. Like, think about it. You had Apollo Crews and Ty Dillinger. You had Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. Emma, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte defeated Becky Lynch and Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Like, it was a fatal 4-way. Eva Marie was freaking wrestling. Okay, that's how when I saw the list of what the topics we were going to be talking about today, and this came up, and I saw that card, I was just like, wow, took me all the way back. It was so crazy, and the Hype Bros and Enzo Amore, like it was like it was such a time. It was so good. Courtney, girl, you got to see it. You got to see it. It was so great.
I have to rewatch that again. I get to.
Like, this was the match that definitely defined Bayley and Sasha going forward as being, staples in the women's division. Hugger Bayley was a different animal, man. She was a workhorse, and not for nothing, I was totally anti Hugger Bayley because I'm always like anti the Cenas of everything. Like, I felt like she was the Cena, and I actually was vouching for the boss. The boss, not Mercedes, but the boss.
The boss was a different animal. The boss was absolutely a different animal.
She was on top of her game. She was on top of her game. For sure.
This match reminds us that you don't have to be the main event to be the standout or the match that everybody remembers, because this was not the main event of TakeOver Brooklyn 2, which is crazy that we don't remember the Finn Balor Kevin Owens match on that card because we remember Bayley and Sasha. That's crazy. So shout out to them for sure. Okay, so very quickly, we're going to run through our preview of SmackDown before we get into our predictions for All In, and we'll try to do that as quickly as we can because we want to leave some room for Honey to get something to drink and to eat to prepare herself for this SmackDown watch along. So SmackDown tonight will happen from the nation's capital. That in itself should be very, very special. A 6-woman tag, the Unholy Union, along with Blair Davenport, taking on the Big Three. And I believe this is the first match for the Big Three on SmackDown. So this is going to be very, very special happening tonight. Also, the WWE champion Cody Rhodes will be a guest on the Grayson Waller effect. That should be interesting. Of course, that's leading into his big title match against Kevin Owens next week at Bash in Berlin. Got the tag titles on the line as the Bloodline will be defending against the number one contenders, the Street Profits. And you've got to wonder, will the Bloodline be able to survive this with Roman Reigns somewhere lurking around? And then also, what better title match to have in our nation's capital than the U.S. title on the line as LA Knight defends against Santos Escobar. That's all going down on SmackDown tonight. You guys can hang out right here and check out the watch along with Honey, which will start promptly at the top of the next hour. It's always a fun time to see her live reactions and responses to what's happening on SmackDown. Now then, let's get to the big pay-per-view event happening this weekend, which you see the giant smile on Courtney's face. She's excited about All in London. Special start time, 1 p.m. Eastern in the States, and I believe that the 0 hour will start at 12 p.m. Eastern in the States. And the one match we know about in the 0 hour is a mixed tag, Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii against Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. Any quick predictions on this? Courtney, we'll start with you.
I just feel like Stokely and Statlander have something up their sleeve. Even though she's training him, I just feel like they have something up their sleeve. And I have a feeling that they may get a win. And this can build Statlander's momentum against Willow when she faces her at All Out. So I have a gut feeling that Stokely and Statlander have some tricks up their sleeves and probably may get some backup to help them out in the tag team match. So I'm gonna go with Stokely and Statlander for the win.
Okay. All right. Councilman.
I gotta ride with Willow and Tomohiro. I think we're gonna get some fan favorite pops from them and stuff like that. But I think we'll have him take the win in the pin. I don't think either. I don't think Willow or Stokely. That's the lady, right? Stokely.
Statlander
Stokely.
is the lady.
Stokely
is the man.
I don't watch this. Y'all know I don't watch this. I'm riding with Willow, but based off of what Courtney's saying, I think that they'll fuel that up for that, and I think they will still try to keep them a little separated and not give a definitive winner. So I'm gonna still ride with Willow and Tomohiro.
All right, honey.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't help but feel like this could go to Willow and Tomohiro as well. I know Chris Statlander and Stokely, they're gonna have their wits about them and try to pull something, but I don't think it's gonna work. I think the crowd's also gonna be really, really behind Willow and Tomohiro as well. I think it's gonna be a good match, but I'm going with those two for the win.
And the beautiful challenge, of course, being part of the 0 hour is, you're the match that hopefully will get last minute buyers to purchase the pay-per-view. So this should be a fun one for sure. Now, there's a lot happening in this pay-per-view. One of them is a London ladder match, which is going to be for the Trios Championships. It will be 4 trios. So ultimately 12 men in this match. The champions are Christian Cage and the Patriarchy. They'll be taking on the Bang Bang Gang, House of Black, and a 4th team, which will be determined on Collision. This is going to be nuts. Who leaves as the AEW World Trios Champions? Courtney.
There's a lot of avenues we can go with this because considering 2 out of the 4 teams have grudges against the Patriarch, and also in regards to the House of Black, I feel like they're gonna get possibly their 4th member back, Julia Hart, because there has been a lot of reports floating she may come back late summer, early fall. So I would not be surprised if Julia was an asset to that match. This can go either way, but I have a feeling Christian's going to retain the trio championship.
Okay. Councilman?
The 4th one is a mystery, right?
It's a mystery, and it's going to be either Top Flight or the Blackpool Combat Club with Pac.
Which one had Jay White in it?
Well, the Jay White team would have been the Bang Bang Gang, and they're already in this match.
I think it might be them because apparently Jay White has been medically cleared. So I think he may make his return at All In and get them their titles back. So I think Bang Bang Gang may take this.
Okay, honey.
I'm not gonna disrespect my homies like that. House of Black till I die.
I actually think the medical team is going to win this match because there's a lot of people that could be hurt with 12 men and a ladder. That's a lot of people. Yeah. And the medical team is going to win this one. But I think Christian and company will probably leave with the championships, but it's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a wild one. All right. From there, which, by the way, so far, it seems like there are only 9 to 10 matches on All In, which is a far cry from the normal 12 to 15 matches that can be on an AEW pay-per-view. Granted, things could change between now and Sunday. But up next is the infamous Casino Gauntlet match. So that everybody understands how this works, it is not like a normal gauntlet match where you want to be the last person standing. It is actually the first person who gains a fall will win this match. People will enter at varying intervals. We don't know all the people that are in. We have heard Hangman Page is involved. That's about all we really. Oh, and Orange Cassidy is number one. We do know that. Who else is in there is all still a bit of a mystery. The winner will get a guaranteed world title shot. Courtney, who wins this match?
There's going to be a lot of surprises on Sunday. So many. I really want Orange Cassidy to win. But if I had to think storyline wise, I kind of have to go with Hangman on this one. Because I'm thinking storyline wise, because I'm thinking of the next pay-per-view. And I know he wants to. I don't know how that's going to work because, especially with the main event and between now and Wrestle Dream, but I want to say Hangman, but I think I'm going to go with Hangman.
Okay.
Winning that Battle Royal.
Okay. And it's not a battle royal. I got to be clear on that. It's a gauntlet match. Because no. The reason that I have to say that is because even when I heard the term gauntlet match, it's different than what this is. So it's like all of this stuff is super different. The Casino Gauntlet match is first fall to a finish as opposed to last fall with a gauntlet kind of situation. So, Councilman, a wild guess. Who walks out of the gauntlet match as the winner with a guaranteed world title shot?
Joe Hendry is going to win the Casino Gauntlet.
Well, if they said his name, he might appear. So
I'm gonna say his name, and he's gonna appear.
That's hilarious.
But mine for that. I know he hasn't been there in a while, but Samoa Joe.
Oh, now that's a good call.
Yeah, and win this.
That's a good call.
He's been quiet.
Ooh.
He's been real
I
quiet.
I think he already finished filming Twisted Metal 2. And I already think they wrapped up.
Good call, Councilman. Good call. All right, honey. Who do you think wins this gauntlet match?
I would have to. I don't want to say this. I would. I mean, I think, and I've seen some people in the chat saying it. I think this would also be a cool opportunity to, if they're going to pull the plug and rip the Band-Aid off with him right away and just throw him out there. I think this would be a cool opportunity and a very interesting opportunity to see if Ricochet shows up for this and where he lands or who he lands in the ring with or whatever. But if not Ricochet, I could totally see Hangman Adam Page because I know there's still a lot of bad blood between him and Swerve, which kind of I gave away who I would assume would still be the winner by that night. That's if Swerve still has the belt. So, but I would say either, I would say Hangman Page if they don't throw Ricochet in right away for this match.
Well, some of the names that are out here, which, by the way, Dylan, he says this prediction segment is going to last 2 hours. It won't. I'll do my best to ensure that. Boza says there are 21 names, but they may not use all 21. That is correct. Dylan says Ricochet. Tamir says Ricochet or Hangman. Dylan says if Ricochet is in this, he has to win. If he isn't, we're already off to a bad start. Here's what's hard about this. Ooh, now this is an interesting pick. John Moxley. I think that's a very interesting pick. This is what's so intriguing about this. There are enough names that are out there that we've not seen in AEW in a while that could make this interesting. I'll throw another name out there just to upset the apple cart. Bobby Lashley. I think that would be a very interesting addition for this. The real challenge you have is how long this match goes and how many names get entered into this. Now, here's my challenge. I think it's cool to introduce new names, but the challenge is if you have someone like a Lashley, a former world champion, you have somebody like Ricochet, who's been the star of a company. If neither of them win, there are those who feel like it's a loss. But then I have personal issues with throwing people immediately into the world title picture because it doesn't end well for them. It does not end well for them. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see how all of this goes, but certainly we'll find out on Sunday. Moving on, of course, we've got the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné, Britt Baker. Who walks out as the TBS champion, Courtney?
I'm actually going to throw a wild card in there, and I would not be shocked if she returned, but look out for Jamie Hager. But possibly to help alongside Dr. Britt Baker. But if I had to pick a winner, I think Mercedes is going to retain the title. I just have that feeling she's going to retain.
Okay. Councilman?
Monet. Honey, you can go.
Okay. Honey?
Monet.
Well, it's a clean sweep. I definitely think Mercedes is going to retain.
I love you, Britt. I'm sorry, Britt.
Yeah. I love Dr. Britt, but
yeah.
Will be a good match, though. It will be a good match.
It will be. Now, you could argue that there's a great moment potentially for Britt Baker to actually beat Mercedes Moné on this massive stage. I think at some point Britt Baker could get the win, but just not Sunday. Not Sunday. The tag titles, a triple threat, FTR, the Young Bucks, and the Acclaimed. Who leaves as the tag team champions? Courtney.
I don't know if anybody's watching, but this particular rivalry, which I love, and I am a true advocate for tag team wrestling because I'm happy it's getting the damn spotlight. Finally, tag team, because we need to see a lot more rivalries with that. We're going to have new tag team champions on Sunday. And I'm going with the Acclaim. And also because, in fact, Anthony's from my home state of New Jersey. And also I followed their career from, even though I watched AEW in 2022, seeing them wrestle during COVID. Be tag team champions in 2022. Even up until now, because it's been 2 years since they've had the title. And it's nice that they're coming out of their shells and proving, hey, we are the homegrown team of AEW. And not many teams can say that, but they have a win over FTR when they were tag team champions. So, new tag team champions, I'm going with the Acclaim.
Okay. Councilman.
You never bet against Mr. Ass, and who's Mr. Ass is always co-signing. I'm going with the Acclaimed as well. I think we already got 2 veterans in the Young Buck and FTR. I think this would be a great push for the Acclaim to be able to beat 2 in my opinion, today, some of the top 15 tag teams currently out, which is the Young Bucks and FTR. So I would love to see the Acclaim take this.
Okay, Honey?
I think this would definitely be a great opportunity for the Acclaim to capitalize on and take the titles. Also have an opportunity to make history and become 2-time tag team champions. I mean, we all like Councilman said, we do have veterans in FTR. I wouldn't mind seeing FTR tie in the Young Bucks with the 3. That would be, I would say, my dark horse pick, but the favorite is the Acclaimed, and they're too hot right now, and they, just let them keep going. Give them
I think I'll save mine. You don't need to hear my prediction. Let's move on. I will say this. First of all, I thought the match between the Acclaimed and FTR on Collision was incredible. It was an absolutely incredible match. With that said, I still don't believe in the Acclaimed. Sorry. So I'm going to go Young Bucks or FTR, but I don't believe in the Acclaimed at all. I just don't. I don't.
I don't either. It's just from what I know with the crowd, and I know they're big top favorite guys right now, and I just, otherwise it would be FTR.
Yeah, but I still don't believe in them. I mean, the fact that Max Caster is still trying to be John Cena 2005 is just still weird to me. But all right, there we go. Here we go. The FTW Championship, the For the World Championship. Chris Jericho defends against Hook. Courtney.
Jericho's going to retain. I love Hook. I think he's great, but Jericho's going to retain this title.
Okay. Councilman.
I don't care.
I was just gonna.
Yeah, I don't.
This is why we tag champ, dog.
That's great.
I was just gonna pose the question, like, do we really have to see them fight again? Didn't we do this already? I know maybe possible. Was it for the title even? I don't even know. I don't even I don't even remember. I don't know.
The concession stand is gonna win because that's how many people are gonna get popcorn and nachos.
So that's the bathroom break match. I'm assuming.
Most definitely.
And that sucks hilarious to say because this is Chris Jericho we're talking about. Like, it's sad.
That's wow. Yeah, I do think Hook will win the championship, but yeah. Coffin match: Jack Perry against Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Courtney.
Oh man, and I love Darby too, and I really want him to win, but I think Jack Perry is going to retain the TNT Championship. I love Darby, but Jack Perry's going to retain.
Okay. Councilman.
This one tough. I'm going to be honest. This one tough. But
is it?
I mean, because it's a coffin match. But yeah, man, Jack Perry just too hot right now. And the fact that he remade the belt himself, I'm just like, the scapegoat has definitely got me in his corner. But I'm not gonna sleep on Darby Allin though. But just I got to go with Jack Perry.
Honey,
Darby, I love you. Darby, I appreciate you. But if you don't lay your ass down somewhere and just freaking relax, dude, like lay off the skateboard, lay off the stunts, put your feet up in a nice hotel, get some snacks, whatever beverages you like, or get room service for crying out loud. Jack Perry, damn it. Jack Perry. Like, I love you, Darby, and I know in any other situation you will win this, but you need to lay your ass down and relax somewhere.
So Darby Allin also has a guaranteed world title match coming at Grand Slam in a couple of weeks, which makes me wonder how focused he is on that. With all of that said, this is how I see the match ending. I see Darby Allin climbing up one of those trusses as high as he can to try to do a coffin drop on Jack Perry through a coffin, and Jack Perry moves. Darby Allin in the coffin. Jack Perry wins. Let's see. The American Championship, which was the International Championship, which was the All-Atlantic Championship. MJF and Will Ospreay. Courtney.
They had a good promo this past week. And this is going to be very interesting. There could be a lot of turns during the match. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody tried to screw MJF, but I enjoy Will Ospreay. He has been fun since he came to AEW and some of his matches, but I got to go with MJF. He has so much heat right now, and it needs to continue building that. So I think MJF's going to retain the title.
Councilman.
Yeah, I see MJF walking back out with this. I think Ospreay should set his eyes on a bigger prize, and I think trying to go back to that AEW championship is something that's needed. Let MJF bring some prestige to the AEW American championship, and maybe some of these belts can actually start to matter. Like, I was gonna say again, but they never have. So hopefully this is the start. Hopefully this is the start.
Allegedly. All right, honey.
I smell shenanigans in this match because anytime you have MJF, there's always some kind of shenanigans. I just don't know where the shenanigans are going to come from and directed to. But just for shits and giggles, I'm going to say Will Ospreay because I prefer him and he's a lot of fun to watch.
I'm going to go with Ospreay with a confrontation with Ricochet happening after this. I think Ricochet shows up here. I don't think he shows up in the Casino Gauntlet. I think he shows up here.
Nice.
Because them battling for the American or International Championship makes a lot more sense to me.
Ooh, that's sexy.
To me. Let's see. The AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm, Mariah May. Courtney.
Oh, they build up an amazing storyline. They build it up from top to finish. And it was so nice meeting Mariah May in person back in April. And also meeting Toni Storm before she came to AEW. So this is really a fun match and I'm going to watch. I do think Mina Shirakawa is going to try to be involved in the match. Possibly help Mariah win. But this is a big homecoming for Mariah since it's in London. And we're going to have a new AEW Women's Champion in Mariah
May. Okay. Councilman.
Time is up, Toni Storm. Time is up. Mariah May is going to be crowned AEW Women's Champion, and I cannot wait to see the vignettes from Toni Storm as the wrestler that has lost it all with the crying makeup here and having and the chase beginning, as the mayor say. I can't wait to see that, but it is definitely Mariah May's time.
Honey.
Like I said, this is another one that's a little difficult to call, just like MJF and Ospreay. They've built this story up, as Courtney said, from top to bottom, even from a long time, because we know these two women have had a friendship and relationship that lasted, and now to see it unfold the way it has and the way it has crumbled, and for Mariah May to make such a big moment out of it, such a shocking, memorable moment in AEW, in the AEW women's division, for sure. It was very reminiscent of, and we talked about it on Wednesday with NXT takeovers or NXT War Games. It was very reminiscent of how shocking it was when Dakota Kai turned on Tegan Nox, and just to have it happen the way that it did. It was one of the first times that we had seen Timeless Toni look as vulnerable as that, where somebody beat her up into a bloody pulp. That's never really been done to her. And she has had a great 10-month reign, but I am going to say this, and you guys will know my pick. You cannot say time is up when you are known as the timeless one. So I'm going with Toni.
Okay.
This is really probably the toughest one of the night for me, because I think that you've got. Thank you, son.
He wanted to give his predictions.
Little professor.
He's choosing the popcorn. So this is a tough one because it really could go either way. I mean, it stands to make sense that Mariah May would win. But I don't know what this does for Toni Storm if she loses. I think Timeless Toni Storm is I don't even know this is a bold statement. Timeless Toni Storm is the most progressive and successful female character in the history of AEW, bar none.
That's on point.
So with that said, I don't know that they're ready to put a stop to that at this particular point. So I think there's still juice left in this. So I think Toni Storm wins with perhaps a rematch coming as soon as either All Out or even at Grand Slam, where Mariah may go ahead and get the championship then. All right, this leads us to the main event. It's title versus career. Swerve Strickland defends the AEW World Championship against Bryan Danielson. If Bryan Danielson loses, it's his final match. He retires. He's done. Courtney, what happens?
There's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this match. There's going to be a lot. I would not be shocked if Hangman tried to screw Swerve, or I would not be surprised, and this is my bold prediction, I wouldn't be shocked if Nigel tried to screw Bryan Danielson, considering on Dynamite, because he had a lot of things to say about Bryan Danielson before he came out face to face with Swerve. So there's a lot of avenues that it can go into. But it would be nice for Bryan Danielson to get his moment to be champion and ride off in the sunset. So I am going with Bryan Danielson.
Councilman?
I gotta give credit where credit is due. Professor, you convinced me. You convinced me. Daniel Bryanson is not retiring. This man is definitely going to win just because of everything the professor said. You cannot go to this company and not sit at the top of the mountain. What was you leaving WWE all for? What was you leaving a cushy position for if you do not walk away into the sunset, not saying that you were a world champion here, Ring of Honor, and WWE? Bryan is not going nowhere this Sunday, and he'll be there at Collision or whatever is first in the week of AEW, holding that belt.
Honey,
I'm sticking to my guns, y'all.
We've been so off. We've been so off on these predictions. See what AEW does to this tag team.
Swerve till I drive, man. I've been rooting for Swerve to win this title, win the big one. I want him to have a healthy reign, a healthier reign, and for it to continue to be healthy. I think that this is definitely going to be one of the matches of the night for sure, hands down. We know what Bryan Danielson has brought to any wrestling roster, any professional wrestling promotion. I feel also this could possibly be an opportunity where Bryan Danielson somehow gets screwed out of it, as Courtney said, and then this is where he does the Wolf of Wall Street, the "I'm not leaving" speech, and he's gonna try to go after it maybe one more time. But yeah, man, Swerve Strickland.
So I've made my case before, but for those who did not hear, I'll make it very, very brief. There's absolutely, positively no way that Bryan Danielson loses this match. And here's the problem. I've talked about this before. I think I've done it on this show, but AEW has to do a better job of, number one, pacing their stories, and number two, not giving everything away. Okay. They have given so much away with this story. Everything from the interviews that Bryan Danielson's doing, where he keeps talking about, my child wants me to retire. The family's all going to be there. Last week, they played a whole tribute video to, you don't play tribute videos until the people have retired. Okay. Then they went so far as to this Wednesday on Dynamite, he was wearing the same flannel shirt that he wore when he retired in WWE. Like, how many ways are you going to try to drive this point home that he's going to retire? There's no way. There's no way.
So to your point, Professor, you might as well tell Daniel Bryan to show up and bring the salmon jacket.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, at this,
I got a lot left in the tank.
He gotta say the exact words too, holding the belt.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. There's going to be lots of wonderful tears at Wembley. The 80,000 people are going to be, or however many thousand people are going to be screaming yes. It's going to be one of those moments that they're going to capture, and they're going to need that moment for when he really retires. That's going to be the thing. They will go so far as to probably play the final countdown as his theme song on Sunday. Like they're going to do
just
all
to drag
of the things. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the most dramatic thing AEW has ever done. Now, let me go so far as to say this: they didn't do some of this shenanigans when Sting was retiring. They saved the actual retirement video for Sting's the night he retired. In fact, they had Sting winning the world tag titles before he retired.
They're gonna have him hugging and kissing the wife and the kids at ringside type.
We're gonna see Brie on AEW television for the first time. We're gonna see Birdie, all the things. Now, what Swerve will likely be a 2-time champion. I wouldn't be surprised if Hangman has something to do with costing Swerve the championship. None of that will surprise me. But by hook or by crook, whatever happens, Bryan Danielson leaves as the world champion. It will not be a long reign. He's not going to hold that title for a year. I do believe that he still needs neck surgery. I do believe his body's in bad shape. I believe all of that. But none of that's going to stop him from winning the title on Sunday. Let's just be extremely clear about that. And I've got good news for you. That's all the matches, Dylan. We did it in 20 minutes. Not 2 hours.
Yeah, because there wasn't 73 matches on this pay-per-view.
Well, there were 9 or 10, so I can live with that. So again, All In takes place this Sunday. It leads us to a very, very, very busy 7 days of pro wrestling. All in London this Sunday for AEW. Then on Friday, the 30th, you've got Emergence from TNA, which will feature a lot of great matches, including Riley Osborne becoming the first WWE superstar to challenge for the X Division Championship in the Ultimate X match. That's on the 30th. On the 31st, you've got Bash in Berlin. And you also have All Caribbean Wrestling presenting Jam Slam in Jamaica. That's all on the 31st. And then, of course, on September the 1st, is No Mercy, where Joe Hendry challenges for the NXT Championship. So there's a lot of history that's potentially going to be made in the next 7 to 10 days. So I'm really, really excited to see what will happen with that. And you guys are
Roxanne will also be defending her women's world championship as well.
She will be defending against Jada Parker. And next week, we'll obviously get into previews for Bash in Berlin, as well as Emergence and No Mercy. And I do believe there's going to be an all-in post show, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But here's how you can reach out to us. Courtney, how can people find you?
You can find me on both Instagram and Twitter on my handle at CourtneyNJ11.
Excellent. Councilman, how can they find you, sir?
You don't have to go follow. I just want you to go support. Buy my new book on Amazon Prime, AEW for Dummies. Come join me in this journey of how to figure out why people love this so much. I've written a great book about it, and I would love for y'all to support it. And we will have a masterclass on it coming soon.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Honey, tell the people how and where they could find you.
You guys can find me here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with my crew here at WWT Live, which I enjoy so much. Don't forget to tune in 20 minutes because stay tuned and you want to, stick around because right here we're going to have our Honey Night SmackDown watch along. It is Friday. Apparently it is kicking off with Grayson Waller and Cody Rhodes first. So it's going to be really, really exciting. And all my handles: Wrestling with Honey TikTok, Wrestling with Honey Instagram, Facebook Wrestling W Honey, and please like and subscribe. That YouTube, tell your friends about it. Trying to get to 100 subscribers as my first goal over here on the YouTube universe. So the Wrestling with Honey podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe that button. I'll see you guys at 8:00.
Excellent. You guys can find me, of course, at Bonnerfi. Just dropped another cool video. I hope you guys are liking this video content.
Yes.
Talking about the TNA and NXT partnership. You know, we are a few months into it now, so I'd love to get your thoughts on that. So go ahead and check that out. Also, you can check out my commentary work in a lot of places, thankfully, including, let's see, Southern Honor Wrestling and IWE. That's on IWTV. On YouTube, you can find me at The Nightmare Factory. Also Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, All Caribbean Wrestling. I will be there in Jamaica next weekend, which should be a lot of fun for Jam Slam. Then, of course, we've got Ashe Wrestling that is happening as well. And the next big Ashe card is happening September the 29th. You might want to mark that date down. Smile Ashe is with you. I just love the brilliance of the title of that show. So
Yes.
you'll definitely want to check that out. And you guys are starting something here, and I'm just appreciative of it. Hashtag NXT Bonnerfied. If
Right.
Yes.
Right.
this is
Manifestation.
Listen, I am not mad at all. You can check out all things women's wrestling talk at WWT Talk Pod across the socials, where you will see clips from here, interviews, and all kinds of great things. Also, wwtalkpod.com is the website. And you can check out all of the great things soon, you guys. You guys are very kind. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I do. I really, really do. Shout out to all of you, special little nobodies. Dylan, Matt, good to see you. Boza, Tamir, it's good to see you with us as well. Also, Eric, and man, there's a lot of people that are here. So if I've missed somebody and I feel like I have, charge it to my head and my eyes and not my heart. You guys are awesome. We couldn't do what we do without you. Remember, there will be a post show for AEW All In, so be on the lookout for that immediately following All In on Sunday. Of course, we'll be back here on Monday for Women's Wrestling Talk, or WW Talk, or WWT Live. That's what it is. I got too many things in my brain. But coming up next, of course, is the SmackDown Watch Along with Honey. That's coming up at the top of the hour. So grab yourself a beverage, something cool to eat, and then log back in and check this out. It's going to be absolutely amazing as we represent all things women's wrestling talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WWTalkPod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.